guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture, and I hope you didn't hear that. That was my IKEA delivery driver buzzing the doorbell. Anyway, today I'm going to tell you all about the backstage mood in WWE and why wrestlers are fearful of another round of roster cuts. Also going to tell you about WWE potentially being interested in signing Tessa, Blanchard, and on top of that, Renee Young is teasing a big announcement for later in the week.
Plus, the real reason SmackDown was all over the place this week, and NXT UK is not closing down. This is the news.
Let's kick things off with another miserable-ass WWE backstage report. You know, I wake up every morning and obviously a lot of the big news stories break while we were asleep because we're in the United Kingdom. And I wake up every morning and I think, man, let's get some positive wrestling news today. Let's have a pep in our step as we report all the nice stories. But hey, guess what? Not today, brothers and sisters. Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer, new report here, talked about the mood backstage in WWE. He's spoken to a bunch of wrestlers within the company. And basically says that there are a bunch of people there who feel that WWE shouldn't be going ahead with TV tapings as things currently stand. The global health crisis, the global bastard, is obviously tightening its grip on the promotion. Last week, we heard reports of up to 2 dozen region was the exact phrasing, I believe, people testing positive. Renee Young, Adam Pearce, Jamie Noble, Kayla Braxton are the names that have come out so far. No wrestlers named so far, but they are believed to be among that number. So there's kind of a fear within the company that this isn't a good idea, brothers and sisters. But there's also a fear from these wrestlers that there might be another round of budget cuts on the way. Now, obviously, April saw dozens of wrestlers and backstage staff members and various people either cut or furloughed by WWE. It was a pretty gruesome time. That was on the 15th of April. Yeah, man, it's not a really good situation. There's also a belief among these people that Meltzer has spoken to that despite WWE's continued assertions that if you want to take time off during this situation, you won't be punished, there's a belief that it might be held against them if they don't have a quote-unquote good reason, such as family, Roman Reigns, or whatever the hell else, that WWE might even freeze their contracts like they do for injuries and extend people's deals and keep them there longer than maybe they want to. It's just a big pile of crap, this, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of this is just speculation, but it's kind of based in a lot of reports and stories we've heard over the last few months. You would assume that we aren't going to see any more cuts because the first round obviously didn't need to happen in the first place, and they got a ton of bad press off the back of it. Not that that seems to bother WWE, but in reality now, it would look arguably even worse. It was like we made these cuts for financial reasons or whatever, effectively just to get to look good on the books almost, because we all know that they are absolutely fine and will be for the next few years, even if this continues. But even worse now is effectively they'd probably be cutting people who have risked their lives, risked their families' lives by committing to do these shows. And they're like, yeah, thanks for that, but bye. Awful stuff that. And yeah, like we said, as much as the company's like, hey, if you don't want to come in, you don't have to come in. You really think that they're going to let that slide unless you're, one of the much higher ups? I sense, your Kevin Owens of this world probably aren't going to be punished that much. But I still think that if there was a talk of him getting a world title anytime soon, they'd be like, nah, but remember, because they always value, the reason why they haven't put a world title on Daniel Bryan for so long is like, yeah, but the Saudi shows, rather than thinking, oh, Daniel deserves it, or it'd be the best for the storyline. They were like, nah, Saudi takes priority, so that's awful as well. Awful time, terrible wrestling stories, seemingly never ending at the moment. Yeah. Bad stuff, mate.
Yeah, it's just a stream of rubbishness every single day. I hope it brightens up soon, but probably isn't going to, given what's going on. So, yeah, man, just grim stuff.
I'm putting all my eggs in the Renee Young announcement basket, basically, for this week. It better be some good news, Renee.
Fingers
please.
Crossed.
Let's talk a little bit about SmackDown, though. If you watched that on Friday night, having listened to our SmackDown preview podcast, you would have thought, what the bloody hell's this? Because me and Sidrick recorded this, right? We probably recorded it like Friday afternoon. And even, all of us here at WhatCulture I was going, so all the preview says is it's a big sort of thank you Taker episode, with no word on all the stuff they advertised. They'd advertised an Intercontinental Championship match between AJ Styles and Drew Gulak, which got pulled our time, sort of Friday afternoon. There was a toast, I believe, from Sheamus to Jeff Hardy. That got pulled. Basically, anything that they previously advertised, aside from the thank you Taker stuff, which I didn't watch because Taker being retired is a work. That's what I'm going for. Basically, per Figure 4 online, they made all these changes due to the fact that a load of wrestlers didn't travel to the tapings. People like Sheamus, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan. Now, the reason behind these absences weren't revealed, although you would assume, and the early signs sort of point to, the ongoing global bastard. Now, this is not us saying, I should point out, this is not us saying that any of those names or anyone else who didn't appear on that show is ill, but it could just be a precautionary measure. Like you say, we've all heard these reports. If I'd heard that loads of people at WhatCulture was ill, and then they were like, do you want to come into work? I'd be like, you know what? I'll stay at home, to be honest. I'm fine just keeping on recording videos in my bedroom. So, yes, that's the reason why SmackDown was a horror show, to use WWE's own words.
Building up to the horror show, Extreme
Yay.
Rules. They should have read the room on that one. Yeah, I mean, if I'm a WWE wrestler at the moment and I hear that this amount of people have tested positive, I'm not going anywhere near that goddamn performance center. So, fair play to the people who weren't at these tapings. Hope that they have no health concerns or anything. You know, there was a report over the weekend as well that one wrestler had multiple family members suffering from the thing. So this thing is all over the place, man. It's just... It's concerning times. You think specifically two names mentioned there, AJ and Daniel Bryan, they were in that in-ring segment with Renee Young, who has tested positive. So maybe wrestling should have stopped, man.
Yes.
Maybe it should have.
I should point out, I feel like we should point out here, there's a lot of names sort of bouncing around online, and if you're wondering why we aren't reporting them, we're only going to report them once we're a lot more sure. We kind of don't want to speculate on certain people until it's officially confirmed. So if you think, well, hang on, why aren't they mentioning this guy or this person or whatever? You know, we mentioned Renee Young, we mentioned Caleb Braxton, we mentioned Jamie Noble, who, you know, it's terrifying hearing that he had it because obviously he's interacting with Vince, and as a producer, as Brian Alvarez talked about on Wrestling Observer Radio recently, he will be working with a lot of wrestlers. But yeah, if we neglect to mention a name, I'd just like to point out it's not poor reporting, although if it's me, it probably is. It's because we haven't got it confirmed.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to sit here and go, oh, such and such has the thing. If
Spin the wheel of WWE wrestlers. Let's
yeah,
see who's got
exactly.
it.
Exactly. Like there's an act in the United States that prevents you from doing that as well. I don't know I can't remember the name of it. I think it begins with a H. But anyway, let's talk Tessa Blanchard from one positive subject to another. There's talk over the weekend that she could be a potential signing target for WWE. Now, there's lots of levels to the Tessa Blanchard situation, but this is a report from Figure 4 Online / The Wrestling Observer stating that WWE have shown an early interest in picking her up. They've already touched base with Blanchard to potentially start negotiations. No word on AEW whether or not they'd be interested in her given her current situation, although Big Swole, I think, said something over the weekend like, hey, yeah, we'd love to have her. Tessa's situation is weird. So she was released from Impact Wrestling as the world champion last week. Under normal circumstances, she would be a no-brainer for any promotion. I think that on pure talent alone, if she went to AEW, she'd probably be the best all-rounder there in that division. WWE at least top 5, bare minimum top 5. She's great. She's a tremendous performer. I don't think that's ever been in question. However, you know, certain behavioral issues and certain stories have poisoned the brand somewhat. So obviously she left Impact like we spoke last week because she failed to submit some video content while in lockdown. There was a fear within the company that she'd no-showed the Slammiversary pay-per-view where she was apparently supposed to drop the world title. January, the racism scandal, multiple accounts of that, lots of people coming out. Her response to it was less than ideal. And there's all kinds of stuff going back in the day as well relating to incidents at the WWE Performance Center, other little bits and pieces all over the place. So, you know, she's young. I think she's only 24. Lot of room to grow, a lot of time to grow. You'd hope will grow over the years and stuff and get rid of these behaviors and iron them out completely. It's a question for these promotions, WWE and AEW, whether or not they want the baggage that goes with the talent right now and whether they want the reputation of the performer as well as the undeniable skill of the performer. My thoughts, and this is purely me riffing and speculating, is that maybe she'll end up in somewhere like AAA, Mexican promotion for a while. They would absolutely have her, and I think that would be a great way for her to kind of, work at a high prominent level in Mexico for a while, maybe pick up some new skills while she's there as well, man. Different style of wrestling and all that. Then maybe come back to America, hopefully with a cleaner slate, hopefully having atoned for everything that's happened.
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from there, Andy, in terms of you want her effectively to stay in the spotlight by obviously working for a decent promotion, but stay out of the sort of, let's just say, more sort of Western spotlight of, because you don't do regular reports on AAA, for example. Look, I don't really want to, say anything more than what Andy said, really, there. She's a phenomenally talented performer with a history of problems, but if they can get ironed out, then she is, like you say, a top star in whatever promotion she goes to. I'm sure AEW, if they could get rid of all that, if they could wipe that slate clean, they would love to have her, because their women's division is growing now. Britt Baker is one of the stars of that, of course. You've got Nyla Rose, you've got Hikaru Shida. They just would want to have more and more stars to that, and having someone with that prowess would be great, and obviously with Tully being there. But, like you say, with the issues, WWE, I mean, she'd just be added to a roster with just the best women's division ever right now. I don't want to do the gimmick because I'm genuinely, I can't think of it. I mean, obviously Becky being gone, but if you include her in that conversation.
It's tough. This is a really difficult situation to analyse, because if we're saying best women's division ever, right, are we talking women's promotions in Japan as well? Are we talking Stardom? Are we talking All Japan Women? If that's the case, then absolutely not. However, if we're talking about a division within a company that also includes male wrestling and they're totally segregated, I think that is a very easy argument to make.
Just going to reiterate the point. Bayley and Sasha should main event SummerSlam.
Please do.
Happen. Right, let's move on and talk about NXT UK. Rumours over the weekend that it was going to be closing its doors off the back of this Sportskeeda report. All about WWE's British brand being a bit in jeopardy as a result, of course, of the hashtag speaking out allegations. We saw Ligero, Travis Banks both released last week. But according to wrestling journalist Gary Cassidy, he tweeted new details on Sunday regarding NXT UK's situation, stating that while wrestlers associated with the brand have been working from home lately, WWE does have a plan to commence taping original in-ring content depending on government guidance relating to the ongoing bastard, of course. And they could start running NXT UK empty arena shows within the next few months. I believe Alex McCarthy corroborated this story. So yes, any claims that NXT UK was going to be gone seem to be incorrect.
Yeah, it looks like the brand is still ticking along. Conflicting reports here. I would be inclined to trust Gary Cassidy and Alex McCarthy because they have a track record of reliability, both doing great things in the United Kingdom and beyond at the moment. Tremendous guys, check them out. Yeah, man, I mean, NXT UK, it's the only WWE brand that's been properly out of commission, right? Because the UK's lockdown situation is a lot stricter than it is in bloody Florida, where everything's mental. And I'm not hating on Florida. I have family in Florida. I've been 12 times. But that's ridiculous. Why are you still, allowing situations where 9,000 people a day can get the thing? Come on, guys, sort your crap out. Things are easing off here in the UK now a little bit. However, bars are opening soon, which I think is mental myself, but it's happening. It looks like there will be the possibility for them to tape those shows. The brand lives. Let's talk Renee Young. Keep it real quick. Not a whole lot to analyse here, really. Renee Young tweeted on Sunday, "Hey y'all, I'm so happy. I have a big fat announcement for everybody on Wednesday." This, of course, led to people speculating. Twitter user here, Jam, who has a Randy Orton avatar, said she is recovered from the global thing. She is pregnant. She's going back to Canada. Pick one. Renee Young replied to that saying, "Lol, sadly none of the above, but it's still good." So you can roll out all kinds of things there. My guess, and again, this is purely speculative, Talking Smack coming back. Renee hosting. That'd be good.
That would be spectacular news. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'd take anything now. I'd take her saying, "Hey guys, great news, big fat announcement. found a yogurt in the fridge that wasn't out of date, and it was still delicious. And it was a fruit corner, guys. Honestly, love multiple fruit corners. If you want to sponsor us, I don't know. Anyway, but yes,
right,
I'll take absolutely anything right now, Andy Murray. Just something. Come on, Renee. We need this. But yeah, talking smack, that's a great shout, Andy. I hadn't even thought about that. So, yeah. Oh, now you've got my hopes up. What have you done to me, Andy? All right, let's move on to our Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, if you want to get in touch with us. Regular contributor Sean Acklin starts us off. Thanks for this, Sean. Who says, when one door closes, another door opens. Who do you guys think should become the new Impact World Champion? I think this is finally, and I'm with you on this, Sean, Moose's time. Don't know how, but there's a story to turn this triple threat Slammiversary into a four-way and give him the belt. Yeah, obviously the build to this world title match at Slammiversary has been all over the shop, but the one consistent thing I've seen on Twitter is Moose with the old TNA World Championship going, don't know why you're bothering with that, because I'm world champion.
Yeah, Moose is probably the obvious candidate here. You can do something with the TNT title. TNT, God. I've made the AEW mistake. The TNA belt that he's been carrying around and stuff. I think, to me, that makes the most sense. You know, they had this 5-way match scheduled for the pay-per-view, and now Tessa Blanchard's not with the company. Michael Elgin's not with the company. You're down to 3 wrestlers there. It's... The poor promotion has just been totally blown apart by the past couple of weeks, so... Throw Moose in there, man. I don't know, I think that'd be fun. As a banter pick, however, I'm going with Ken Shamrock, because why the hell not? He's on the roster, he's mental, he's like 50 odd years old. By the way, check out the new Ken Shamrock book by Jonathan Snowden as well. If you've got a spare, I don't know, like $15 lying around, and you want like a really cool wrestling MMA read, it's great, check it out.
Yeah, I just think Moose is the most obvious suggestion here, and it's a real shame this, putting aside all the issues for Impact Wrestling, because they've been doing some great stuff. All I see all the time on Twitter is people saying, you guys need to talk about Impact more, or you need to encourage more people to check out Impact more. Obviously, it's tarred with the TNA brush from, 15 years ago, or 10 years ago, more precise, when it was all an absolute horror show, to use WWE's words. But now, yeah, it's great stuff, and check out Slammiversary, because as much as we've had all these problems, there's some incredibly talented guys in Impact. And yeah, fingers crossed for Moose or whoever it may be that this is sort of a fresh start for Impact Wrestling, because they're doing great stuff. I think they found their sort of groove, found their position in the whole hierarchy now. So that's my thoughts anyway. Second question today comes from Uesudi Kenshin, who says, which luchador has the coolest mask in wrestling today? Mine is a tie between Pentagon Jr. and El Desperado.
Hechicero for me, and I'm going to hold up a picture of this guy. I hope that comes through well. Look at that, man. That's just pure evil. Look at it. Here you go, mate. Have a look at this freak.
Yes, I love that.
Look at that. It's absolutely mental. Scary. Yeah, that's my pick.
Like that. Yeah, I was going to say Pentagon. I love his mask. And I was going to give a shout out to El Hijo del Fantasma, who doesn't need to wear a mask because he's so bloody beautiful. Very Jesus, handsome, I don't even care if people have got a problem with that stable of his. He's gorgeous. What's going on? Take the mask off. Why did you ever have a mask on? Anyway, final question today comes from Simon Henderson, who says, if you could put Orange Cassidy against any Attitude Era WWE wrestler, what about the Attitude Era, for the best match, who would it be?
It's a pretty easy one, this, for me. You want to put the Ultimate Badass against the Ultimate Badass, it's Steve Austin versus Orange Cassidy. Two hardest men in wrestling. What more could you want? Two working men roll up their sleeves, get brawling. There you go. That's the answer.
On. Andy, this isn't the other answer that you gave me before this.
Oh yeah, Gangrel, obviously. Obviously.
So I'm going to say yes. An appropriate answer, The Rock, obviously. And my personal preference, I wouldn't... See, I don't want him in a match with them. I want to just put him in Too Cool. Because as myself and Phil James will tell you, they are the best tag team of the Attitude Era. So, oh my God. Can you imagine him doing the worm, but with his hands in his pocket. Oh, my days.
That'd be impressive.
Oh, someone make that on like WWE 2K or something. My days. Right, let's move on to today's. And finally, and you may have seen this doing the rounds in the past 24 hours. Only Lorcan, always entertaining on Twitter. All caps, all the time. He tweeted, I'm telling you right now, I'm just going to shout it because it's in all caps. I'm telling you right now, if you don't give me Tim Thatcher, I'm going to start kicking everybody's ass. And William Regal, who presumably has to handle, I've realised that you have to handle Only Lorcan like a sort of excitable child who's just had a little bit too much sugar. William Regal tweeted, I'll do this in a proper, I'll try this in a proper British accent. Well, you are nothing if not excitable, Mr. Only Lorcan. I'm pleased to say you will not need take any further action, as I'm granting you a match against Timothy Thatcher this Wednesday on NXT. Hashtag NXTGAB, because of course the Great American Bash is coming back, because it's Fighter Fest this week as well. What a match that's going to be. Sorry for you, Only Lorcan, because those vignettes that they've had with Timothy Thatcher just stretching people out and going, look, I could break this guy's arm with 2 fingers here. Only, what have you done, mate? What have you done?
This is going to be brutal and beautiful. Only Larkin's Twitter remains one of the best in the game as well. Love to see it.
Yeah, go and follow him, but WWE throwing everything at Fighter Fest, which is very interesting, especially considering the ratings last week. Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dandy Boys previewing Monday Night Raw. Hopefully they'll stick to what they've previewed this week anyway. And as well as that, you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there, follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for...
I was not ready for that one.
Spell that. Right.
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE, as I said. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.